What's up, you guys? This is Rob from the Gay Guy Plays, and today on the Daily Grind, we're going to be taking a look at the Baruuk Collection. Now, the main heft of it is going to include Baruuk himself, as well as the Cobra and Crane. However, there are a couple other accessories that do come along with it. But before we jump on in, I do want to remind you guys that today is officially the first day of the non-denominational winter holiday extravaganza. So down in the description box below, I will include a link to the Mesa Prime Access Giveaway that will be running throughout this whole entire event. In addition to that, I'm also going to usher y'all on over to my Twitch stream, just so that you guys are aware. Make sure that you are following over there to know when I go live, because I will be giving away a Baruuk Collection, as well as a Deluxe Skin, as well as a couple 3 secret primes that I've got stashed up every single day this event. Alright? So be sure to check out all of that. Regardless, let's go ahead and jump into the rest of the review. Okay, so jumping on in, as many of you guys are aware, Baruuk's blueprint is available after you reach rank 3 with the Vox Solaris, and I believe the rest of his components are available at the rank right above that. However, if you want to get your hands on him ASAP so he can get his hands on everybody else, you can always pick him up in the market pre-built with a weapon slot and a catalyst. Y'all remember that joke from way back in the day? For 325 plat. Now, as for the Cobra and Crane, you can pick up its blueprints for 20,000 credits, which is available in the market, but it does require Master Rank 10 to craft. If you don't want to wait, that is 150 plat, but it does come pre-built along with a weapon slot and a catalyst. However, as we are talking today, we are going to be looking at the Baruuk Collection, which includes both of those items, as well as the Akrabu, I got that right? God, they always make it so difficult to read. Sayandana, the Slowy Kubro armor, 3-day boosters, and the Baruuk Mandala, and that's all for 565 plat. And you also get his Miro helmet, which is kind of weird, but I kind of like it. We'll take a look at that later. So, taking a look at Baruuk's base stats, I'll admit, straight out of the gate, I was like, what is going on here? Because the only shining beacon that we have is his energy, which sits at 200. His armor is only like 150, which I guess is okay. His health is extremely low at 75. He literally has the same amount of HP as a Loki does. And his shields are only at 100, but he does have a nice sprint speed of 1.2, which means that he's definitely going to be more energy reliant for his survivability as opposed to his base stats. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at said abilities. In fact, let's start off with the one that you can't see at all because I have just blocked it with this cam placement. So, starting off with his passive, each projectile dodged, each enemy lulled or disarmed erodes Baruuk's restraint and fuels the storm within. As Baruuk's restraint is diminished, he becomes more resistant to damage. Now, with this, I'm going to go ahead and point this out in Serene Storm, and this is an assumption, but I have a strong feeling about it because the icons are the same. So as you can see, the Serene Storm icon is like a hand thing, and basically you have a little meter on the side of your screen that fills up or erodes away, as DE likes to say it, and as that fills up, you'll get more and more damage reduction. As you can see right here, there is a random damage reduction stat, and I'm assuming that ties in to how much damage reduction you get when you are at max passive. So that's 36%. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show that off to you, as well as his first ability, kind of like in tandem, to show how it all builds up. So Elude basically allows you to dodge all incoming projectiles, but only while not attacking. It is a channeled ability, so you can turn it off while, if you need to conserve some energy. Now, let's go ahead and jump on in. I also want you to make note that the angle is 315, alright? 315 on that angle. So, I'm going to go ahead and turn that on real fast, and we're going to take on a Corrupted Heavy Gunner. Now, as you can see right here, literally the Corrupted Heavy Gunner is shooting right through me because of evade, right? So I'm going to turn to the side a little bit. Let's do a little bit of that action. You can shoot me as much as you like. And down at the corner, you see that little restraint meter building up. Now, you'll also note that when I turn to the back a little bit, ooh, that's the angle where he can hit you at. In fact, the other angle he can hit you at is when you go ahead and you shoot him, because it turns off your evade unless you just stagger him the entire time. See, there you go, dead. Now I'm dead because I was shooting them and expecting evade to do all the work for me. So that's not how that works. Make sure that you are not attacking when you are trying to keep clear of the damage of evade. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, because I did specifically pull out a heavy gunner to demonstrate that, because I wanted to show you the difference between what happens with a heavy gunner and a bombard. So let's go ahead and turn on evade again. It's on, right? No, there it is. Elude. It's called Elude. So right there, ooh, they're just going right through me, right? So good, right? But I'm gonna back my ass up over here. Ooh, as you can see right there. It never gets old. But basically what happens is, because of the fact that, yes, you are eluding the rocket passes right through you as if you weren't there. However, it is slamming into nearby terrain and hitting that slice from behind you. So just be very aware that while, you know, you can be quite comfortable eluding all of that damage, that splash damage can definitely just snatch the life from you and send you flying as well. Now let's take a look at Baruuk's next ability, which is Lull. And oh my god, this is the powerhouse. This is where the scary power begins, because Lull is just nuts. So basically what it does is a calming wave slows enemies until they fall into slumber. Enemies woken by damage will be confused and disoriented. Short-term amnesia means all waking enemies forget anything that happened before the lull. So if you can't tell what they're saying here, you want to toss a little covert lethality dagger on this motherfucker and just go ahead and just kill, get all your stealth multipliers, if you know what I mean. He's going to be absolutely amazing for that. But basically what happens is you set up this area of effect that if enemies walk into, they get slowed down and they slowly fall asleep. The period of time is fairly short. They do show the duration of the sleep. And they showed the duration of kind of like, oh, you create this area for 5 seconds, and when enemies walk into that zone after that 5-second duration is up on the ability, boom, everything's asleep. Also note that while the duration is live, you cannot recast it. So let's show that off real quick, just so you guys are aware. So I'm going to go ahead and cast Lull real fast. Boom. And as you can see, there's the timer. In that timer, I cannot recast the ability. So just make sure that your Lull placement is good. The one thing that I want to point out about this ability is I don't even think I've gone too overboard, but y'all saw the stat. It was 45 meters on this thing. This is a very big area to be covering with Lull. So you'll be able to take on a lot of enemies at once and lock down large planes in time. One thing that they did mention, I don't know if I maybe just didn't make the cut, but they did say, evade's not on, elude's not on, elude's not on. So as you can see right there, he has fallen asleep, and now I can go ahead and stab him, right? And pay no attention to that lull, because that has more to do with the weapon that we're gonna talk about a little bit later. But as you can see, there he is, and now he's open to you finishing them off. So boom, right there, that's what Lull looks like. We'll put this all together in the end so you guys can get a better look at what happens with that. But the next ability is fairly straightforward. This one is Desolate Hands. So you can see I create all these really pretty knives that spin around me. So basically what that does is it summons a bevy of orbiting daggers to seek out enemy guns, destroying them with a small explosion combined with Elude to double the range. So basically what happens is these knives will seek out enemies and go ahead and disarm them. There's nothing too crazy about it, except for the fact that it does add to your what is it called, your restraint, or eats away your restraint. Why do you have to make it backwards? The other thing that I do want to point out here too is you have a damage reduction of 90%. Now if you take a look at the stats without mods, it only creates 8 charges at its base, and it gives you 80% damage reduction. So what I'm assuming here is your max damage reduction is going to be 90, but you can create more than those charges. So one of the things that I want to point out is you can also refresh those charges. So let's go ahead and show how that works. Again, we're going to go ahead and toss on Elude because I forget a lot. And then we'll toss on the knives. And as you can see right there, he is reduced to meleeing me, right? And you can elude melee attacks too, just in case you guys were aware, were curious whatsoever. Now, the other thing that you can do is as allies kind of come to you, you know how that knife jumped to the enemy? It'll actually jump to your allies as well. It does it pretty frequently, so what you'll want to do is you'll want to go ahead and recast them. So as you can see right there, I was able to recast it yet again. The casting cost on it is pretty low too, so it actually doesn't feel too bad at all. I feel like the knives are okay. Let's do it so that knives are jumping. So I have 11 knives right now. See, you can see right there. It's just because I had Elude on that the range doubled, so the knife went out and sought that guy out. So very, very simple, really, really cool ability. And the fact that it can jump onto your allies, it's kind of like you spreading the love a little bit. And I hope, like I said, I haven't gotten to test it out, but I hope it also spreads the damage reduction too. So they get a little bit of love that way as well. Now, the last thing that we're going to talk about is the Serene Storm. Now, Serene Storm is your exalted weapon, and there's a lot of things to say about this. As you guys know, Serene Storm is built up using your restraint meter. So I'm going to show off how we're going to do that real quick here. And I'm going to show you how this feels, I guess I will say, on lower level enemies, because when you go out and play this in missions, it feels really powerful. It feels really good. It feels really strong, and you're like, oh my god, Baruuk is crazy powerful. However, you know, when you come up against much higher level targets, it does not feel as good. It feels good. We're gonna take it to 60. We're gonna take it to 60 because that's the starting on most things. But what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to do all the things that, you know, you got to do in order to get your restraint meter, right? So I'm going to go ahead and toss these guys in a little bit of a lull. So as you can see, this is where he really shines. Legitimately, you just lull the shit out of enemies. Your restraint goes up. Everything goes down. We're going to go ahead and toss the damage reduction on there. And then we're going to go ahead and show off the ultimate ability, which of course is Desert Wind. Now, the combos on this are really what makes this amazing for me. So let me go ahead and show these off. It looks really good. So keep in mind, these are level 60 enemies, right? These are level 60 enemies. And it looks really good on level 60 enemies. However, higher level enemies, it has a bit more trouble with, clearly, because, you know, you're gonna have more armor. Now, when it comes down to it though, if your enemies aren't armored, you're really not gonna have as much trouble with it. As you can see, it's eating away at restraints also. So let's go ahead and do that one more time, and we're gonna show off the combos. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of how things kind of work with that. All right, so the first combo is a very basic combo. It's just your standard, like, damage combo. I'm not pushing any other numbers, any other buttons other than just the melee button. And as you can see, it hits a large amount of targets at once, which is very nice. Actually, you know what I need to do? I need to go ahead and turn this up so we have some enemies that we can really dive into. Hold on. Let's show off the next combo. So the next combo real quick is just the forward. So this one is the one that pushes enemies back. So you can just push enemies back. Oh, and the cool thing about this too, so just so that you guys aren't confused at all, you can build, you can keep your restraint down. You can keep your restraint down, so you can still go ahead and lull enemies, disarm enemies, and it will still add to your meter. So that's the great thing about all of this, is literally you can keep your meter up by casting more of your abilities. Actually, I need to kill everything. Let's go ahead and turn this into 160s now. You can still build up your meter while you are actually doing what you gotta do. So let's do that real fast. And as you can see, we've got Vadon. Let me toss down a well-placed Lull. So all these guys are gonna get lulled. Let's do a disarm. So just as you can see right there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do forward. Ooh, we're gonna use the ability first, and then we're gonna do forward punches. So that will push enemies backwards. You can see it pushes them away constantly, right? It's just constant pushbacks. Now this next one, I absolutely love. This one is my favorite combo. This is the block combo. So I'm just hitting E and block. And this is kicks and it's pulling them towards you. I love it. It's just giving them a nice little yank and you're like, thank you for coming. And it's got a bunch of kicks. See, so as you can see, they are being pulled towards you, and I love it. It's so good. All right, let's go ahead and spawn. Let's spawn some more enemies real quick while we're here, and then we'll go ahead and show off the next one. Let's do a little bit of this, and we'll do a little bit of this. All right, let's go ahead and refresh Desolate Hands. Toss these enemies in a quick lull. Now this one is the melee one where you hit E and you pause. Oh, wait, let me get this again. Hit E and you pause. And this is the lifting one. So hit E, and you can lift enemies up into the air. So, and this is what I like about Baruuk, is legitimately, if you learn his kit, it's so freaking, like, you can really, like, get some cool effects out of it. Look at that. You can also get that same effect from sliding in an area of effect. So you can see that. You saw all of those guys get lifted up into the air. Oh, it's so good. Okay, definitely fond of that. Let me lull these guys yet again. Let's build up a little bit of a restraint there. Turn on my Desolate Hand yet again. And then the next one is going to be the ground pound. So the ground pound pushes enemies away. But here's a tip. If you ground pound and you hold block, you suck enemies in. So you get that? Okay, so to review, ground pound sends enemies out. Ground pound while holding block pulls enemies in. That's like what I absolutely love about this. I'm like, oh my god, it's so smart. So again, there's just the basic combo. That's the basic combo. And then there's the forward combo, which just keeps pushing them back. There's the I yank you back towards me combo, which is the block. So just remember, block pulls them to you. Like whatever it is that you're doing, if you're blocking, you're gonna end up pulling them to you. And then we have the hole, which will lift them if they're not dead. So hold on, let's see. Let's show that off one more time. And then we can kind of have a quick chat about the rest of what Baruuk's bringing on the table. So, again, this is kind of like how it stacks up. Let's go ahead and get these enemies all lulled. And you're able to hold off pretty easily when enemies are lulled. So, let's do the lift real quick. So, hold. And that lifts them in the air. You can also lift them in the air by sliding. Oh, it's so cool. Now, keep in mind, these guys are level 160s now, so you can tell that he is having a bit more trouble taking them on. And believe you me, what I feel when it comes down to Baruuk is really his abilities are what I call like they change. They change as you go later in the game. In the beginning, you can do a lot of damage. As you can see, versus level 60s, he was taking them out left, right, and center. However, when you get to the higher tiers, you can use him for a lot of control. Whether he's the best for that, I'm not gonna say yes or no. Like, Lull is so ridiculously powerful that I don't necessarily want to discount what you can do with Lull. But I would say that the rest, ooh, there's the finisher. Oh my, there's another finisher. I was meaning to do a ground pound. See, So you do a ground pound, and then you can toss out a lull, and you can toss out a disarm. So when you combine with your abilities like that, you can be really powerful because you literally just vortex suck them all in, and you literally recast lull on them and disarm a whole bunch of enemies at once. When you learn what your different things can do, like what you can do is you can pull enemies towards you, and then you can push them away from you as kind of like a form of CC. You know, it's all about learning all of the different combos, and after you do that, it feels really, really satisfying. Now, me personally, I don't know if I would say that this is the most efficient way to CC enemies, except for Lull, which is fucking batshit crazy nuts. Because, like, a part of me is like, I'm gonna give you a pass because Lull is really, really good. But it's a very, very fun way to CC. So you get a lot of ways to protect yourself. You get a lot of ways to kind of take control of the battlefield, whether you're sleeping things, whether you're lifting things, whether you're knocking things around. As you guys know, I'm not always the biggest fan of like knock around abilities. Like I don't really like Zephyr's tornadoes for that kind of stuff. That's why I like a lot of his blocking abilities, which will suck enemies towards you. And that's why I love the ground pound that vacuums enemies towards you, because it is a more controlled form of control. But I did find it useful when I'm trying to like get enemies off of an interception point, or when I'm trying to like get enemies off of a Kuva siphon. I'm like, get the fuck away, get out of there, you know? So it's a really cool thing, especially after you've mastered the combos. You feel good because you're like, oh shit, like I know what to do when I see enemies attacking these things. So it's very engaging. The gameplay is very, very engaging. Is he the best at CC? Lull is really powerful, but you know, that's all I'm trying to say. Is I do enjoy playing him a lot, and I do find that he has a really, really cool space. But whether he's the best Warframe in game, I don't know. But he's really, really fun, and he's very, very enjoyable. Now, let's go ahead and put Baruuk aside and take a look at the Cobra and Crane. Well, actually, technically, we can't really like put Baruuk aside because there's something interesting that happens with Baruuk and the Cobra and Crane. So as you can see, let's look at the weapon stats real fast before we read the description. The attack speed is 0.917, which is kind of slow. The critical chance is 10%, which is really low. Critical multiplier is 1.5 times. So you can see this is not necessarily pushed as a critical weapon. And then it does have a status chance of 36%. So that's telling you something right there. It's also got an interesting IPS where its damage rate is just impact and puncture. So there's no slash in there whatsoever. So that means that you can focus its status if you really, really want to. However, here's the interesting bit. Cobra and Crane, Baruuk's signature weapons, a sword for retribution, a shield for restraint. In Baruuk's hands and his hands only, Cobra's first strike in a combo renders his foe unconscious. Alright, so supposedly this only happens with Baruuk. I really haven't tried it with anybody else. Maybe we'll do that towards the very, very end. But it does stun an enemy. And I found, I was like, at first I was like, what is that? I was like, I'm not quite sure what's happening here. Like, I don't know what's going on, because I was very, very confused by it. Okay, let's go ahead and turn everything on that I need to turn on real quick. And as you can see, I'm not gonna go ahead and let's disarm him. Well, just remember, it gets kind of bad for Baruuk when someone explodes on his back. Let's try this one more time. And hopefully we can get that disarm off before things get too nasty. Alright, so I'm gonna whap him. And as you can see right there, that basically he's out. I'm like, hi, and just whap him again. No, get down. He's just out. The next feature that you'll notice with this is it is a throwable weapon. So for those of you guys who have not gotten your hands on the Sigma and Octantis, or are very, very fond of Captain America and don't want to see him die in the next Avengers, just keep in mind he will live on forever in this weapon, as long as you do it. And see, you can basically control an enemy really, really well with this. The only thing that I will say is I have issues trying to display how fast this can kill a target because all of the combos on this thing are a big pain. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go into his base. I'm gonna go into his base, what do you call this? What is this thing called? Into the base combo when he does not have it equipped to kind of show off how it works. So let's take a look at it real quick. So this is just the quick melee combo. And as you can see, because of the fact that you're able to do it pretty fast, you're able to strip armor fairly quickly. Is it the best weapon in the world? I feel like this is the conversation we're having, because I know that a lot of people are going to say, well, if it's not the best, is it really worth using? If it's not the best, is it really worth using? I mean, that's completely up to you guys, but it does have some really interesting mechanics. I think it's kind of fun. It's not terrible, and I mean, the way that I've got this set up is almost kind of, and it feels very Baruuk-like, alright? So what I've done with it is, because I'm going to be using it on Baruuk, I've got primed reach on it, I believe. And basically what I want to do is I want to dash around the battlefield, smacking people around with it, and then all of them become unconscious because of the fact that I smacked them with the stick, and then I just go through and finish them off. So really, that's kind of what it breaks down to. I still feel like it's a decent weapon. I want to say it feels like a Mastery Rank 10 weapon. But as you can see, can strip the armor really, really quickly because we are focusing, because we're able to kind of really, really focus the status chance on it. Able to focus the status chance on it. Let's just do this real quick. So you're able to really strip the armor down fairly quickly. Again, not the best weapon in the world, but is it a bad weapon? No. It's an interesting weapon. That's what I'm going to say to that. Now, I know some of you guys are going to ask about Desert Wind real quick. Desert Wind is Baruuk's, what do you call this? Are Baruuk's exalted weapons. I do want to say one thing. There is a little bit of a bug in the simulacrum. You'll notice that it only shows off 0% status. It actually has 10% base status. It just does not show in the simulacrum. There's a little bit of a simulacrum bug going on over there, but let's take a look at it real quick so you guys can see the base stats of that. Then we'll go ahead and take a look at the accessories of the cosmetics bundle. I feel like the video has gone on for a very, very long time, and you guys probably are done with it. But let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. As you can see, it's got a 50% critical chance. It's got a 50% critical chance, and the build that I was using on it did have, what do you call this? Did have sacrificial steel on there. The thing that it's missing, because I forgot to put it in while I was leveling it, was actually Spoiled Strike. Legitimately, I don't know how I feel about this build. It's not completely all set, but as you can see, I do have Berserker on there, and since you're hitting more than one enemy at a time, and you do have a lot of critical chance, it kind of basically turns a full Berserker with the Spoiled Strike in there. I think it brings it down to 55 attack, 55 bonus attack speed, which is basically like Primed Fury. And I feel like because of the fact that you're going to be hitting a lot of enemies at once and critting a lot with this, is going to be okay. Now, as for the build that I have on the Cobra and Crane, this is what I'm running with at the moment. Again, it's a little bit weird when you have a weapon that has no critical chance, or has really, really low critical chance, and you don't get to use the mods that you normally use. So this is what I'm playing around with right now, and Baruuk's current build is this setup. I am thinking of changing this into Arcane Energizes, because I did notice that he needs energy to stay alive, and he needs a energy to fuel his ultimate ability. So I'm going to keep that there for now, but I'm still playing around with it. These aren't final, I do have to say that for myself, but I will also say I'm not asking for your build. Just pointing that out. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cosmetics back on the ship. Okay, so when it comes to the accessories in the collection, as you can see, we have the Baruuk Moro helmet. That's a thing that I've been kind of sporting this entire video, and I do prefer it to Mr. Man Bun over here. He's just got a lot of odd hairstyles, I guess I would say, but you know what? I kind of live for it at the moment. The next thing that we do have also is the SANDR that comes along with it, the Akrabu SANDR, and this is the cord knots wrapped in linen, used by Baruuk for meditation and contemplation. It's on your back. I don't know how you really do that. Usually you have like prayer wraps. I don't know. Listen, I'm culturally inept. And it looks like a big cattail, as people have pointed out. I'm not super duper into it because it kind of looks mummy-esque, and I feel like maybe it should go on a Naros instead. I actually prefer Baruuk almost pared down. It feels more monkey. you know, when he has less on him. But let's go ahead and take a look at the next thing that does go along with him. As you can see, I have pulled out our Lindy baby, Mr. Linden right here, and he is sporting the Slowhee. Listen, you know that I don't know how to pronounce anything, but it does come to the Slowhee Kubro armor. And it looks like it's got a weird, it's got a weird variant of a leash. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not super duper fond of this. It makes your Kubros look fatter than they actually are, but maybe it's comfy. It looks like it could be very, very comfy. I mean, he's asleep, so clearly he's enjoying it. And it comes with a cool nose piercing. Did you see the nose piercing? Did you see the nose piercing? I also do feel kind of weird piercing the body parts of our pets. There's like another, there's like a Kavat skin that has piercings on it too, and it kind of weirds me out, but it is what it is. And last is the Baruuk Mandala, and as you can see, I've placed it on my ship very, very badly, apparently. Or is it just the angle that I'm viewing it at? Because I think when I placed it, it looked right, because it is actually 3D. So as you can see right there, it kind of floats a little bit. Its little bits stick up and whatnot, and I thought it was kind of cool to put down there. I believe it matches, or it takes on the color of your ship. So I figured when I'm sitting here, I can have a little pretty arrow moment, right? So that is the last bit that is available in the Baruuk collection. So that about does it for this video. Wow, I can't speak at the moment because it is very, very late at night right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys got to see all of the wonders that were in that. Of course, we do have other weapons that we need to cover, and we also need to go ahead and jump back into the primed weapons as well. So, don't forget to go ahead and take a look in the description box to click on the link for the giveaway that we're going to be doing for Mesa Prime Access. And don't forget to go ahead and join me for the rest of NoDeWiHoE on my streams and on my YouTube channel, because we are going to be doing more giveaways, including the Baruuk Collection, amongst other things. So that about does it for me for now. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. And if I forgot anything, it's like past midnight. So, you know, please feel bad for me. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.